Okay, so splurge or save. This conversation is very different when you're talking about an apartment versus when you're talking about a home. A lot of people on YouTube talk about where you should splurge and where you should save. But how does that apply to someone who rents their space as opposed to someone who purchased their home and doesn't plan to leave anytime soon? My opinion might be drastically different from how you feel and what you should splurge and save in your space, but from my experiences, a little background, I've been in my apartment for 6 years. And for those of you who ask, why are you still living in an apartment for 6 years? Well, I'm a millennial and I live in New York. The conversation of splurge or save changes when we're talking about an apartment. There are things in an apartment that I would save on 100% because I don't know how long I'm going to be in that apartment. Or I don't know if my next apartment is going to fit those same pieces. Maybe the space might be bigger. Maybe it might be smaller. Maybe you're not going to be living in that space for a long time in general. Maybe you're going to rent for a year and buy a home. Again, the space might be different. So you might want to save now as you rent and then choose to invest in pieces later down the line. So let's get into this topic. Let's break it down by room. We'll start in the living room. Now, I just want to mention that these are my opinions and kind of what I've experienced over the last couple years living in this space and where I think you can splurge and save. Now, this first one, it's hard to really say, okay? And here's why. In my experience, my sofa was less than $1,000. You guys already know, if you've been on my channel for a while, you know how I feel about my sofa. I don't love it in the aesthetic, but the quality, I always say the quality of the sofa, as far as how well it's held up, is really good. And I did spend less than $1,000 on that sofa. Now with inflation, I recently just checked the price of this sofa from Raymore and Flanigan, and it has gone up about $800, which is beyond me. That's a whole nother topic. But when I bought the sofa, I didn't spend thousands of dollars on the sofa. Now, it is an apartment size sofa, and many people who buy sofas in their apartment are probably going to buy a sofa that is apartment size, and that is going to fit your space. So here's the tricky part. You can splurge on a sofa if you really think that sofa is going to come with you from place to place to place. If you only plan to rent for a year, 2 years, I wouldn't say go and buy a really, really cheap sofa. Okay, I'm totally against that. I'm not even a fan of IKEA sofas, and you guys know I love IKEA. I draw a line at some point. What I'm saying is to do your research. Figure out how long you plan to be in that space. Figure out if you plan to move into a house in a year or so, and what the square footage of that house is going to be, what that living room square footage is going to be. Is your sofa no longer going to fit the space? And are you going to have to buy another sofa again? That's a big factor. Say you go to Restoration Hardware and you spend like $7,000 on a sofa, a smaller one, we'll say, that fits your space. But then you move into a house and your living room is double the size. Now you just threw that money down the drain. I'm gonna have to leave this one up to you. You're gonna have to really determine how long you plan to rent and what your future steps are, and if you're willing to splurge on a sofa that you think you're really gonna take from place to place. So this one can go either way. It depends on you. Lighting. I almost feel like you guys might be tired of me bringing this up, but lighting, I think you can save on. I think you can 100% save on lighting. There are so many places that you can get dupes. For example, if you find a lighting fixture that you really, really like, did you know the Amazon app has the ability to search for items based on a photo that you upload? Say you find something on Instagram and you really love it. Screenshot that photo, upload it to the Amazon app. You can search for items similar to that item, and the prices will be significantly cheaper most of the time. So you might be able to find a dupe of a lighting fixture that you really fell in love with. But also understand that there are places like Target, IKEA, where you can find really beautiful lighting fixtures for affordable prices. Again, if this is your apartment and you just want to fix it up for now, you may not want to spend thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars on a fixture that you're gonna have to replace when you move out. The next thing I think you can save on, your carpet or your rug, your area rug. Again, this goes back to the whole square footage thing in your space. Are you going to have more square footage in the next place you go to? Are you going to have less square footage? Is that rug going to fit the space? There are so many things like Rug USA or Overstock or Wayfair where you can find really affordable rugs. And you also have to think about the people in your house. Do you have pets? Do you have kids? Is it a high traffic area? Is buying an expensive rug really going to be the best option for you if you have these other factors in place? A side chair. Again, we're in an apartment, right? But even in a home, I feel like you can save on these other decorative chairs that are in your living room. You might want to spend more money on your sofa. That's dependent on you. But the other chairs that don't get as much use, maybe only see a few guest booties in them every couple months or every, twice a year or whatever, you might be able to save on those chairs as well. Why? Because those chairs are probably a little bit more, they're more of your accent pieces that I would say. And what happens with accent pieces? They tend to go out of style. Would you want to spend $2,000 on a chair, boucle, and it not be in style 2 years later? Boucle. Those are my two thoughts. So in the living room, I feel like you could save a lot. In an apartment, I just do. Here's another item you can save on. All of your decor. Why? Because decor can be found literally everywhere. You can thrift items, you can buy items from big box stores like Target. And you know what? A lot of those items may, again, be in trend season and may go out of style. Who's to say I love a vase now and I may not love that vase 2 years from now? I've had that happen. Don't do it. Don't spend $500 on a vase at Restoration Hardware for your apartment. Another kind of in the middle situation, a dining table. You guys know, if you've seen my apartment tour, I'll link it up here if you haven't seen it. I don't have a dining room table. I don't have a family. It is just me and my boyfriend. And then when my family comes over, they hang out at the breakfast bar. Now, again, space. Does your space accept a round table now? And maybe the apartment you move into is a little bit bigger in square footage and can accept a square or rectangle table? Would that round table look absolutely ridiculous in the space later on in your next apartment or your next home? Another item which I say you can save on. For now, in an apartment. If we're talking about a house, that might be a completely different discussion. Here we are. Again, another thing you can save on in the living room, curtains. Curtains, yeah. I don't think you need to go to the shade store to buy your curtains for your apartment. Again, because you don't know what your ceiling height will be moving forward. You might have ceiling heights that are 9 feet here, and they could be 8 feet somewhere else, or they can be 15 feet somewhere else. And to get custom drapes for a space you're not going to be in long term, save your coins. Okay, enough talking about the living room. I'm saying you can save a lot in the living room, but I have a completely different opinion in the kitchen. Here's why. Kitchen appliances. I bake, I have a KitchenAid, I have a Breville Barista Express. I have a lot of appliances in my kitchen that I will literally bring with me no matter where I go. And I think they are well worth the investment when you're buying kitchen appliances. Outside of like the big ones like your refrigerator and your dishwasher, your stove, you have no control over that in an apartment. But other items like a coffee machine or a stand mixer or other things that you literally can take from one place to the next and keep using, invest. I had a different stand mixer right before I got my KitchenAid, and I got rid of it within the year. There are people who've had a KitchenAid since 1996 and still use that same KitchenAid. So invest in those things. My mother and my grandmother made this very clear when I first moved into my apartment. You should invest in your pots and pans. You will have a good pot set, a good pots and pans set for a long time. We have pots and pans that have been passed down from generation to generation to generation. Invest in your pots and pans. Get a good stainless steel set or something like the Always pan. I don't have that pan, so I can't 100% recommend it because I have never used it. I hear good things about it, but I'm saying invest in a good pots and pans set. You will not regret it. Let's talk about where you can save in the kitchen. I think dishware and glassware you can save. It's just easier, and you are less attached to items that break. If you have a plate that breaks, it can easily be replaced. And those things also tend to kind of go out of style very fast, but there are sets, China sets, that are something that you do want to keep for a long time. So if you have something like that, I would say invest. But regular dishes that you're gonna just like eat at every here and now, save. Glassware as well. There are glasses that I bought in my cabinet right now that I absolutely loved 2 or 3 years ago. Now I kind of have a different style and I kind of want to try out some different glasswares. But one thing I don't like to do is accumulate items. So yes, you guys will ask, what do you do with the items when you don't want them anymore? I donate all of my items. Another thing you can save on are like handles. If you want to go into an apartment and you want to switch out the cabinet pulls on your cabinets, you can save on that. You can find a lot of places where you can save on cabinet pulls: Amazon, Etsy, Home Depot, Lowe's, even IKEA. And you'll probably not bring that to your forever home, so I think you can save on those items. Now, here's an item where I feel like it depends on what you're going for that you might have to splurge. So, I bought a gold utensil set. You guys may have seen it. Check this video up here. I did a whole Amazon favorites must-haves. Now, I still love them, but they are starting to fade. So I feel like here's where you might have to splurge if you're looking for a certain aesthetic. But I don't think you should buy cheap silverware from like Walmart that can easily bend. I think that's a no-no. But do I think you have to spend lots and lots of money on a decent set? No. But when it comes to a certain aesthetic, if you're looking for all black, matte black silverware, or matte gold silverware, or you might have to invest a little bit more there. Those are things that are constantly going in your mouth, constantly getting washed, constantly getting scrubbed, and I think those might be some items that you might have to splurge on. Moving over into the bedroom. Where can you splurge? Where can you save? Let's talk about where you can save. I think you can save on your bed frame. My bed frame here is from Overstock. I think I spent almost for something in the middle 400s, okay? And it's a queen size bed. It is holding up really well. I haven't had any shakiness, any movement, any concern that it's going to break, and I didn't spend thousands of dollars on the bed frame. Again, the bed frame might be something that you might end up switching out often. You might also get an upholstered bed frame or just a headboard in general. And you can usually save there and just buy like a standard like metal bed frame to attach to your headboard. So you can definitely save money there. Where I think you need to splurge. And when I say splurge, I just mean take your time, do your research, and not buy a $200 cheap mattress because you have to sleep on that, right? So you want to be comfortable, right? So you want to also be able to take this mattress probably from place to place to place. But people don't usually just throw away mattresses. Back in the day, a mattress wasn't like a turnover thing. Like that wasn't something that you would just normally get rid of. Do I think you need to spend $4,000 for a mattress? No. Do I think you should spend $200 on a mattress? No. So do with that information what you will. Your nightstands. You can save on these. Literally, nightstands are so easy to replicate. You see something at West Elm, you'll probably see it at Target. You see something at Target, you'll probably see it on Amazon. They're so easy to replicate styles. I am not spending $500 per nightstand in my bedroom. My nightstand is really more for storage and aesthetics. At the end of the day, I think you can save on your nightstands. If you guys have watched my dresser video, link up here. Another area where it kind of gets a little sticky. Can you save on your dresser? Yes. Did I save on my dresser? Yes. I did sell my dresser that I had before, and it was really good quality. I had it since I was a kid. That thing literally stood the test of time. It was heavy, real wood, and it hurt to get rid of it, but it just no longer was my style. I literally had it since I was like a preteen. I'm 30. So it was time to let it go. It went to a nice home. The dresser that I have, I customized myself. I took a cheap dresser from IKEA and I DIY'd it. Be sure to check out that video if you haven't seen it. I love my dresser. Am I afraid that at any moment, only because I added legs, can it ever fall down? Yes. Yes. I don't think it is the most stable dresser. I don't think it's going to last me for years. Is it okay for now in this apartment? Absolutely yes. This is a tricky one. This is up to you if you want to splurge or save. Okay, so this video has been super long and I feel like I talked a lot. Again, I will reiterate that this probably wouldn't be the same if we were talking about my forever home or a long-term living arrangement. Okay, they would probably change a lot. Now that we made it to the end of the video, I do want to mention that I reached 50,000 subscribers. So in honor of that milestone, I want to do a giveaway. I want to give away 3 different gift cards, 1 Target, 2 Amazon gift cards to 3 different people. So that's 3 people that I'm picking in my next video. So here are the rules to enter. You need to like this video, you need to be subscribed to this video, and you also need to comment below and let me know what you would splurge and what you would save on in your home. And in my next video, I will make sure to announce the winner there. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out my other videos. I have a whole playlist about what's dating your space and apartment upgrades that I've made in my home. If you like this video, I'm sure you'll like those, so be sure to check those out, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Peace.